Greetings, wherever you may happen to be. Welcome to the third Electronics Ecologies event supported by the ARC Centre of Excellence for Automated Decision Making and Society, or ADM+S. I'm your host for today's discussion, Mel Gregg, and I am pleased to be joining you today from ADM+S HQ, which is here at RMIT University in Melbourne, Australia. And to begin, I'd like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations as the traditional owners of the land on which this university stands, and to pay my sincere respect to elders past, present, and future. I would also like to extend my respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples who may be joining, and acknowledge their continued cultural, spiritual, and educational practices on country that was never ceded. I would also like to acknowledge the labour and energy that has gone into producing this event. I'm joined here in the room by Nat, who is our support on all things visual and audio. And so I really appreciate all of the work behind the scenes to get us able to talk together across continents today. I'd also like to acknowledge Matt, who has sadly contracted a virus over the last couple of days. So even though he has been a major point of contact for all of us, he will be virtually attending if he's even out of bed. So best wishes to Matt. The topic of today's event is really a chance to share more widely some of the work that we have been doing either collectively in this group of speakers who we've got together, or in parallel, I think, depending on the different institutional locations that we've occupied over the last few years. And my intent in bringing together different scholars and practitioners of energy and AI was to draw attention to two particular areas, one being the emerging field of energy humanities and social science. And so that's really what we're excited to hear about today from our book authors. The new book, Digital Energetics, is a really fantastic and I think pioneering book that is demonstrating the kinds of new methodologies that we need in particularly media and communications research, which is really the natural home of many of the disciplines in the ADM+S Centre here in Melbourne. And some of the partnerships across disciplines that are working on the topic of automated decision-making in society, I think could benefit from the expertise on display in this book, where energy becomes the analytic. So that's one piece of the intent of this event. The second is really to give those of you who haven't had access to actual engineering a chance to learn from both practitioners who have themselves been involved in releasing AI products over many decades, and to hear about research that has been happening inside research labs. This is not coincidental that we have experts from Intel joining us, because that's where I've also been located for the last 10 years. And really this research and practice around sustainable and energy efficient AI, and what is often called responsible AI or AI for good, these are all areas that require a lot of collaboration across skill sets, across different disciplinary trainings, but also different commitments to what sustainability means. And so I think what we're going to learn from the speakers that we've assembled today is just how diverse the perspectives can be on what it means to focus on sustainability and AI, but also to get behind some of the hype around whether AI can be used for good when it comes to climate issues, or whether things are really as bad as some people claim when it comes to the workloads of new applications for AI. So some of the things that we've quoted in the materials for today are really trying to draw attention where it's not known yet about how significant the energy impacts of the IT sector already are, and the main statistics that have been circulating prior to the latest ChatGPT and other very exciting developments over the last 12 months saw that the energy footprint for IT was somewhere between 1% and 4% of global greenhouse gas emissions. And in research by scholars on the call today, we've also seen different citations that put that at even closer to 14% by 2040. So remembering that this is not just, you know, the use of your mobile phone or your own personal computer, but this is really the impact of the data center and the hyperscale data centers that are storing and transmitting all of the data that you're using. We've also got a lot of expertise today on projects that have been looking at other high energy workloads like blockchain and cryptocurrency. And so some of that will be interesting to discuss in light of more recent developments in AI, because wow, the attention really seems to have shifted from things like Web3 to large language models and other perhaps more commonly accessed use cases for AI. So I think we're going to get a really rich mix of people who are working on new forms of academic thought and methods that we need to study these phenomena. But also, I really hope that we can have a dialogue between the theory and the practice, because if we do hope to change some of the trends in energy consumption in high tech, it's really going to be important for us to partner with people who are able to implement and act on the things that we would hope to change. And I think the other thing to note is that if you are new to the Electronics Ecology series, we also have 2 prior events now available for you to watch at your leisure. We had an event on waste in Sydney earlier this month, and we had an event on repair in Brisbane late August. And the whole point of this series is to make all of the content available for people to share and learn and get inspired by. So the ADM+S YouTube has all of these videos available for you to watch later, as we will with these.